Professor Shonku and the Whispering Mountain of Chile. The wind over the Andes carried a strange sound at that night. Not the cry of an animal, not the whistle of cold air between walks. It sounded almost human. Professor Trilokeshwar Shonku stood beside the railing of the small cargo vessel as it crossed the dark waters near the coast of Chile. Above him, the sky glittered with thousands of stars. The Pacific Ocean rolled endlessly into the darkness. Beside him, Newton the cat sat unusually still. That alone worried Shonku. Newton never stayed quiet unless danger was near. Shonku adjusted his spectacles and unfolded the telegram again. The message had arrived in Giridi 3 weeks earlier. Come to Chile immediately. Discovery impossible to explain. Many dead. No one must know. Dr. Hernan Valdivia. Dr. Hernan Valdivia was one of the South America's most respected geologists. Shonku had met him years ago during an international scientific conference in Geneva. The man was brilliant, fearless, and incapable of exaggeration. If Valdivia had written impossible to explain, something truly extraordinary had happened. The cargo ship finally approached a fog-covered harbor near the northern Chilean town of Antofagasta. The desert beyond looked like another planet. Lifeless hills, sharp rocks, and endless silence. A tall man in a brown coat waited near the dock. Professor Shonku? Yes. I am Miguel Ortega. Dr. Valdivia sent me. His voice trembled slightly. Where's Dr. Valdivia? Miguel hesitated. He disappeared 4 days ago. The desert of shadows. The jeep rolled across the Atacama Desert under a pale sunrise. Shonku looked around with fascination. The Atacama was one of the driest places on earth. Some regions had not seen rain for centuries, yet the landscape possessed terrifying beauty. Red mountains, salt plains, and ancient volcanic cliffs glowing under golden light. Miguel drove nervously. You said people died? Asked Shonku. Miguel nodded. 7 miners first, then 2 soldiers, then 3 scientists. How? That is the problem. Nobody knows. He lowered his voice. They were found without injuries. The faces, he swallowed hard. Their faces looked terrified. Newton growled slowly from the back seat. Miguel continued. All that's happened near Cerro del Silencio. The Mountain of Silence? Yes. Shonku leaned forward with interest. Interesting name. Miguel glanced at him. The local tribes avoid it. They say voices live inside the mountain. Superstition! Shonku replied calmly. Miguel did not answer. After several hours, they reached a remote research station surrounded by rocky cliffs. Inside waited a thin woman with sharp eyes and silver hair. Professor Shonku, she said, I'm Dr. Elena Ruse. But where's Dr. Valdivia research? Elena pointed toward a locked steel chamber. We preserved everything after he vanished. Shonku entered the chamber. Maps covered the walls. Geological samples lay scattered across tables. Strange symbols were drawn vividly across Valdivia's notebooks. At the center stood a black stone. The moment Shonku saw it, his expression changed. The rock seemed darker than darkness itself. It absorbed light unnaturally. What is this? He whispered. Elena replied quietly. It was found deep inside Cerro de Silencio. Shonku touched the stone carefully. Ice cold. Yet faint vibrations pulsed inside it. Suddenly, Newton hissed violently. The laboratory lights flickered, and for a brief moment, Shonku heard whispering. Not Spanish, not English. Something ancient. Something impossible. The missing expedition. That evening, Elena explained everything. 3 months earlier, miners had discovered a hidden cave system beneath Cerro del Silencio. Inside they found unusual black mineral formation unlike any known substance. The Chilean government secretly funded research. Then, strange things began happen around. Workers heard voices underground. People disappeared. Electronic equipment malfunctioned. Some claimed shadows move inside solid rock. Dr. Valdivia became obsessed with the discovery. He believed the mineral was not naturally formed. Elena said quietly. Shonku raised an eyebrow. Huh? Artificial? Perhaps. She handed him Valdivia's final journal. Inside were frantic handwritten notes. The mountain reacts to sound. The whispers are signals. Something beneath the Andes is awake. The final page contained only one sentence. Do not let them hear you. Shonku closed the journal slowly. For the first time in years, Jin unease touched his mind. Into Cerro del Silencio. The next morning, the expedition began. Shonku, Elena, and Megul and 2 armed soldiers entered the mountain through a narrow mining tunnel. The deeper they descended, the colder the air became. Soon, ordinary rock gave way to smooth black walls, not carved, melted. As though enormous heat had reshaped the stone thousands of years ago. Shonku examined the surface with a portable scanner. Incredible, he murmured. What is it? Elena asked. This material contains metallic properties unknown to modern science. The tunnel suddenly widened into a gigantic underground chamber. Everyone froze. Towering black pillars stretched upward into darkness. Strange glowing eyes pulsed faintly across the walls like veins of blue fire. Miguel whispered a prayer, and then the whispering began again. Soft, distant, yet unmistakably human. One soldier panicked. "Who's there?" His voice echoed violently through the cavern. Instantly, the glowing lines brightened. The mountain answered. A deep vibration shook the chamber. The walls themselves seemed alive. "Silence!" shouted Shonku. Too late. From the darkness above, shapes descended. Not creatures, clouds. Dense black smoke twisted unnaturally through the air. The second soldier screamed as the smoke wrapped around him. His flashlight dropped. Then the man vanished. Completely vanished. No blood, no sound, nothing. Miguel stumbled backward in terror. "El Diablo!" But Shonku stared with scientific fascination rather than fear. "The smoke is not smoke," he whispered. "It's energy." The black mass floated silently across the cavern before disappearing into a crack in the wall. Everyone stood frozen. Then Elena spoke softly. "That's what killed the others. The ancient signal." Back at the station, Shonku locked himself inside the laboratory for hours. He studied the black stone relentlessly. By midnight, he finally discovered the truth. The mineral emitted ultra-low frequency vibrations, signals, mathematical signals, not random sounds. Communication. He quickly filled pages with equations. Then his expression darkened. The signals were not being transmitted from the stone. They were being received. Something deep beneath the Andes was sending them. Newton suddenly jumped on the table and stared toward the window. A figure stood outside. Dr. Valdivia. Alive! Shonku rushed out immediately. But Valdivia looked horrifying. His clothes were torn, his skin pale, his eyes hollow with exhaustion. "Elena," he whispered weakly. They brought him inside. Valdivia drank water greedily before speaking. "You must leave Chile immediately." "What happened to you?" Elena asked. Valdivia's hands trembled. "There's a city beneath the mountain." Silence filled the room. "Impossible," whispered Miguel. "No," Valdivia replied. "Ancient, older than human civilization." He explained that the black mineral formed part of a massive underground structure buried beneath Cerro del Silencio, a non-human structure. Through the mind itself. Shonku saw stars, galaxies, ancient spacecraft crossing space millions of years ago. A dying civilization searching for revenge. They came to Earth long before humanity evolved. They built hidden cities beneath mountains across the planet. And the black entities were not monsters. They were living energy forms designed to protect the cities until their creators returned. But something had gone wrong. The creators never came back. The guardians remained alone for millions of years, waiting, watching, until humans accidentally awake them. The vision ended. Shonku staggered backward. Valdivia whispered, "Now you understand?" "Yes," said Shonku quietly. "They're not attacking humanity essentially." The black entities floated silently around him. "They're defending the city." Suddenly, Miguel screamed. One entity moved toward him rapidly. The terrified man raised his rifle and fired. The shot echoed like thunder. Instantly, every guardian reacted. The entire underground city began shaking violently. Shonku shouted, "Run!" Collapse of the mountain. The tunnels collapsed behind him as it fled. Dust exploded everywhere. The guardians swarmed through the darkness like living storms. One bit shattered beneath Miguel's feet. Valdivia grabbed him at the last second. "Hurry!" The mountain groaned like a wounded beast. Shonku realized the underground machine was overloading. If it exploded, half the region could collapse. Finally, they reached a central chamber, but the exit tunnel had already fallen. Elena stared hopelessly. "We are trapped." Shonku's eyes moved rapidly across the glowing walls. Then inspiration struck him. The vibrations! He pulled a small device from his bag, his experimental sonic resonator. If the guardians respond to frequency, perhaps the city itself does too. Valdivia understood immediately. "You want to communicate with it?" "No," Shonku replied grimly. "I want to put it back to sleep." He adjusted the resonator carefully while the guardian floated closer. The whisper intensified, being shot through everyone's minds. Then Shonku activated the device. A deep harmonic pulse echoed through the chamber. The entire city froze. Blue lights dimmed instantly. The guardian stopped moving. Shonku increased the frequency slowly. The machine's vibration weakened. Then, silence. Absolute silence. And one by one, the glowing structure darkened across the underground city. The guardians dissolved into harmless mist. The mountain becomes still once more. Escape from Cerro del Silencio. Hours later, the exhausted group emerged from the mountain just before sunrise. Cold winds swept across the desert. Behind them, Cerro del Silencio stood quiet and lifeless beneath golden morning light. As though nothing had ever happened, Miguel kissed the ground gratefully. Elena looked towards Shonku. "What now?" Shonku adjusted his spectacles thoughtfully. "We tell nobody." Valdivia nodded. "The world is not ready." Shonku took the black stone from his pocket and stared at it silently. Humanity believed itself to be the first intelligent civilization on Earth. But beneath forgotten mountains and ancient oceans, countless mysteries still slept, waiting. Perhaps one day they would awaken again. Newton suddenly looked out toward the distant Andes and growled softly. Far away inside the mountain, a faint blue light flickered once, then disappeared.